In a grand castle, a young girl with long red hair named Letitia sneaks through the hallways, trying to avoid the watchful eyes of the adults who might drag her back to her lessons. She's charging toward the exit for a taste of freedom, but she trips and loses her footing, which is a critical fail because, as the doors slam shut, she finds the Crown Prince Clark camping right behind her, completely obliterating any hope of a clean getaway. Rewind to a sunny day in the countryside, where 7-year-old Letitia is living her best life, playing with her dog John and vibing without a single care about royal responsibilities. Her peace is suddenly nerfed when her father receives a mysterious letter. The man's cheerful expression gets deleted as he reads the contents, realizing that this single piece of paper is about to ice-sky his daughter into a world of pain and protocols. Meanwhile, her mother is hyped beyond belief, but in her giddiness, she doesn't tell Letitia that the good news is actually a life sentence in the royal palace. Curious and confused by the energy shift, Letitia leaves the lush grass to investigate the situation. Her mom offers zero explanation, so Letitia turns to her dad, who kneels down to inform her that she's moving to the castle to train as a princess. While her mom is beaming with pride, Letitia bursts into tears, absolutely devastated at the thought of leaving her home and her dog behind. She clings to her father, hoping she doesn't have to leave her carefree life, but it's no use because, before long, the carriage is ready, and her stoic older brother, Nader, is standing by to escort her. The journey feels like a never-ending loading screen. Letitia tries to spark a conversation to distract herself, but her brother is a total NPC who barely responds to her. Eventually, she dozes off and misses the breathtaking view as they approach the royal capital. Upon arrival, Nader wakes her up and helps her out into her new reality. As they enter the grounds, Letitia notices noble women whispering about her, which triggers a wave of unease, but there's no time to linger on the haters. She is led to a room and forced to enter solo. She hesitates, looking for her brother, but a stern-looking woman interrupts her thoughts. Meet Layla, the final boss of tutors, who immediately starts roasting Letitia for her timid vibes. When Letitia tries to introduce herself, Layla scolds her, demanding she stand tall and speak with max confidence. She's told to include her title, and every time she tries, Layla criticizes her for lacking composure and pride. Forced to repeat the same dialogue for hours, Letitia is completely overwhelmed by the toxicity. She finally breaks and starts crying for her parents, which is a mistake because Layla remains unmoved and calls her behavior unladylike. The lack of compassion hits hard since Letitia isn't used to this level of training. That evening, she's still leaking tears in her new room near the castle. Nader visits and gives her some stern encouragement, urging her to endure the grind. Through tearful eyes, Letitia begs to return home, confessing she hates her tutor and misses her old life. Her brother reminds her that running away would only nerf her entire family's reputation. He says the princess path is final, and she has to face it head-on. Calming down, Letitia solemnly agrees to stay and finish her lessons. Seeing her resolve, her brother offers a rare smile and tells her she's stronger than she looks. He introduces Lily, a maid assigned to take care of her while the family is away. Lily gently reviews the day's trauma and tucks her in, but by the break of dawn, sunlight is streaming in and a new day of training begins. Letitia tries to snuggle her pillow, but she's jolted awake by Layla's sharp reminders about her posture. Layla circles her like a hawk, pointing out every flaw and tapping her shoulders to fix her stance. Once the stance is locked, she's ordered to practice walking with grace. To ensure poise, Layla places a book on Letitia's head and tells her not to let it fall. On the first try, she stumbles and the book gets yeeted to the ground. Layla commands her to try again with a sharp tone. Tears start to prick her eyes, but she puts on a brave front and remembers her brother's words. She retrieves the book and balances it again, slowly letting go to find her center. This time, she manages a few steps before it falls again. Layla tells her to persevere, reminding her that crying is a useless emote in this world. The next morning, Letitia is weary and disheartened, but she prepares for more lessons anyway. She knows that appearing drowsy will only get her another round of scolding. Next up is dining etiquette. Layla instructs her on how to hold a spoon and sip soup without making any NPC tier noises. But eventually, the castle locks her into the ultimate etiquette grind. Her strict tutor Layla demands flawless soup-sipping stats with zero audio. Letitia almost nails it on her first run, but leans too far and totally breaks her posture. Instead of raging when scolded, she just deadpans it, realizing that crying is a massive debuff here. Later in the dance tutorial, she completely whiffs the combo and faceplants hard. Her tutor straight up roasts her memory, saying dancing is a basic requirement for nobles, but Layla offers a hand, forcing her to hit respawn and try again. Letitia accepts that failing is part of the quest, knowing she's locked into this grind until she marries the prince, so she takes Layla's hand and gets back to it. Flash forward, and our MC has completely leveled up into a flawless, emotionless Ice Queen. That bright childhood smile, deleted, replaced by a permanent poker face. She's now speedrunning her tasks with absolute precision, leaving the other noble ladies completely shook. During a history pop quiz, Layla watches her MC absolutely dominate. Her clear, confident answers leave the strict tutors seriously hyped. The girl who used to cry over balancing books is now a max-level princess, basically the ultimate queen in training. Cut to dance practice, where she's paired with her fiancé, Prince Clark, before hitting up afternoon tea. While the prince is yapping away, Letitia is straight up AFK, totally unbothered even when the wind messes up her perfect hair. The spark in her eyes, yeah, that's long gone. Fast forward to a massive server-wide ball, and Letitia drops in wearing a god-tier blue gown. The whole lobby of nobles is simping over her grace, hyping up the inevitable royal wedding. She casually strolls in and exchanges a super chill greeting with her older brother. Just when the event seems standard, Clark calls her over to drop a massive plot twist. Letitia's flawless poker face finally cracks when she sees Clark rolling up with a random girl named Brianna. The whole room gasps. The prince is literally dual-wielding girls right in front of everyone. The gossip meter goes off the charts as Clark drops the bomb. He's ditching Letitia to be Brianna's escort tonight. At first, Letitia looks absolutely stunned, like she just took critical emotional damage. But then, she pulls the ultimate Uno reverse card. Instead of crying, her face lights up like she just rolled a gacha pull. She totally breaks character and lets out a massive victory cheer right in the middle of the hall. Skipping over to her brother, she cashes in on an old promise. Nader immediately starts sweating as he realizes what's happening. Turns out, Letitia has been praying for this engagement to get cancelled. Back in the day, she pitched a genius loophole. If Clark ever simped for another girl, their arranged marriage contract would instantly void. Nader had blindly agreed to help their dad cancel it if it ever happened, thinking it was literally impossible. But now, with Brianna physically hanging onto the prince's arm, Nader is locked into his promise. Letitia is hyped out of her mind and actually walks up to Brianna to thank her for stealing her man. She happily lore dumps all the brutal training she had to survive just to be princess ready. We're talking infinite book stacks, cursed etiquette classes, and toxic amounts of tea. Brianna is just standing there shell-shocked like a glitching NPC while Letitia vents. To cap it off, Letitia hits Brianna with a bro slap on the shoulder, says thanks again, and makes a mad dash for the exit. Clark is completely frozen by this wild energy and tries to chase her, but she's already at the spawn point. She turns around, hits him with a GG, have a good life, and wishes his future kingdom well. Clark is left completely speechless while Letitia cheerfully summons her carriage. She speeds back to her base, hyped to drop the news on Lily. Bursting through the doors, she's screaming for her maid like she just won the lottery. Lily rushes over, totally confused why her lady is back from the event so early. Bubbling with hype, Letitia announces she's moving to a new server because the engagement is officially cancelled. Lily's brain basically blue screens trying to process this plot twist, but absolutely nothing can kill Letitia's vibe right now. She laughs it off, claiming her freedom and getting ready for her new slice of life arc. She tells Lily she wants to move straight to the border, as far from the toxic castle zone as possible. While they're plotting their escape, her brother Nader logs in, looking completely drained from the drama. He suggests transferring to Alberta Village, where their family owns a low-key villa. It's deep in the boonies, needs 0 staff, and is basically the ultimate stealth base. Letitia immediately approves of this new map. She remembers the chill rivers and forests, literally the perfect setting for her farming sim dreams. She decides to fast travel there by morning, but Lily pumps the brakes. The maid points out you can't just pack up your entire inventory overnight. Reassures her they'll just travel light and bring the essentials, turning to her maid with a heartfelt request to stay by her side during this new quest. For 10 long years, Lily has been her S-tier support and closest ally through the grueling etiquette grind and rigid palace expectations, so Letitia literally cannot imagine starting a new save file without her. Lily agrees with a warm smile, promising to follow her lead even if it means swapping the palace for a low-stakes life in the countryside, which makes Letitia throw her arms around her in pure joy, while Nader just stands there letting out a weary sigh at the chaos. Meanwhile, back at the capital, the castle feels strangely empty without its red-haired princess, as the local nobles remark on her missing presence and admit the vibe is off. They're all whispering about the broken engagement, thinking the royal wedding would have been the ultimate union for the kingdom, but they quickly pivot to welcoming Brianna, the new player who's currently undergoing those same brutal princess lessons. Out in the garden, the butler Sebastian approaches some noble women with a message from the queen, stating she wants the full tea on how the engagement between Letitia and Clark actually ended. But before they can spill the law, a loud scream of anguish echoes from the castle walls. The group realizes the noise is coming from Brianna, who is currently being nerfed by Layla's infamous etiquette training, and inside the classroom, the poor girl is on the verge of tears as the tutor critiques her every move with zero mercy. Brianna finally remembers Letitia's warning from the ball and realizes the former princess wasn't capping about the grueling grind. While the castle is a total salt mine, Letitia is far away basking in her newfound freedom at the family villa, where she's literally rolling around on the grass and laughing like she just secured the world record for happiness. Surrounded by nature, she feels alive again and begs Lily to join her in the sunshine, though the dutiful maid just watches with a fond smile while our MC prepares for her next mission, fishing. She grabs her gear and heads for the river, musing to herself like she's narrating her own life story for an imaginary audience, joking about how moving to the sticks has even buffed Lily's mood, since she no longer has to school her on manners. Letitia reaches a peaceful spot and casts her line with practiced precision, getting a bite almost immediately, but just as she's about to reel in the loot, a familiar voice startles her so hard she loses her footing and almost falls into the water. Clark catches her before she hits the ground, and the force of the stumble pulls the fish onto the riverbank, but Letitia is so focused on her catch, she barely notices the prince holding her until he congratulates her on the haul. Realizing she's currently in her ex-fiancé's arms, she panics and demands to know why he's lurking in the countryside. Clark just gives her a calm, easygoing smile, leaving our suspicious MC to take a break and roast some of her catch over an open flame. The fresh meal brings her joy, but she notices Clark is staring at her like she's a puzzle he can't solve, so she asks what his problem is, prompting him to admit he's confused why she released the first fish. She explains the fish was too small and that she only takes what she needs from nature, which absolutely shocks the prince because he's seeing a side of her that was never present in the castle, so she offers him a piece of the grilled loot to satisfy his curiosity. Clark eagerly reaches for the fish, ignoring the warning that the stick is hot, leading to a minor burn. As he manages to grab it and take a bite, only to burn his tongue as well. Once it cools, he's delighted by the savory flavor, remarking how it obliterates the stale, cold food at the palace, which Letitia explains is served that way strictly to prevent nobles from burning themselves. Clark nods along while savoring the fresh meal, while our MC watches him closely, wondering what his endgame is but deciding to keep things chill for now. Next, she heads to the nearby town with Clark silently trailing behind her like a dedicated follower, which makes her feel a bit uneasy until she reaches the villagers who are all amazed by the size of her catch. She gives the credit to a new lure she crafted herself, prompting a villager to suggest she sell them, and since she's already prepared a batch, she agrees to put them up in Sam's shop to help the local economy. Clark is shook to learn she's out here handling sharp tools and making gear, worrying she might hurt herself, but the local villagers are more suspicious of the random handsome man following her around. Letitia reassures them he's a good man and a trusted friend, deliberately gatekeeping the fact that he's actually the crown prince of the whole kingdom, while the townspeople shower her with fresh produce in return. Even the kids beg for her attention as she plays with them, while Sam and Clark watch from the sidelines, with Sam mentioning that the village has become way more lively since the princess returned to her roots. Despite her high noble status, she treats everyone as equals, earning their love and admiration, which makes Clark wonder if taking her away would rob her of this happiness. Her old dog John approaches the prince with sad eyes, so Clark pets him and promises the good boy he'll make sure Letitia stays happy. On the walk back to the villa, he offers to carry her materials, but she rejects him because she doesn't trust anyone else with her precious fishing gear. She admits this simple existence suits her way more than being a queen, mostly because she loves climbing trees and has a bit of a foul mouth, which aren't exactly traits of a future ruler. Suddenly, Clark stops to gaze at a field of sheep and horses, his face lighting up like a kid's, and she informs him that she actually owns the whole flock. She schools him on sustainable grazing habits, and he's once again amazed by her practical knowledge and her desire to study countryside living. A large white horse approaches them, and as Letitia pets it, she realizes she's never seen. Clark looks so attractive and charming when he's relaxed and surrounded by nature, making her realize she completely overlooked this side of him at the palace. She gets lost in thought until he calls her out, so she decides to stop stalling and confront him about his sudden arrival. He claims he just needed a breath of fresh air, but Letitia knows he's way more responsible than that and doesn't buy the excuse. Realizing he can't fool her, he admits he enjoyed seeing her real expressions, hinting that he might have known her before she put on that proper lady mask at the castle, and then he drops the ultimate bombshell. He calmly announces their engagement is still valid and promises he'll return for her soon, leaving her in a whirlwind of confusion as he yeets himself away. Letitia returns to the villa in a panic and immediately asks Lily to elope with her, but the maid rejects the offer, pointing out that not only are they both women, but there's zero romance there, informing her that Nada has arrived to talk. She storms into the room demanding an explanation, and Nada reveals that Clark never actually called off the engagement. It was just a misunderstanding she made after seeing him with Brianna. The prince only escorted the other girl to provoke her jealousy, hoping to break through her stoic armor, and while it didn't work perfectly, it did make her smile for the first time in years. The drama is interrupted by Brianna herself, who has been sitting nearby and finally demands attention, pleading with Letitia to return to the castle because she can't endure even one more second of Layla's grueling princess lessons from hell. Fast forward, and even though she's an op noble, Letitia treats everyone like equals, becoming the absolute favorite of the village. Clark watches this and starts second-guessing if dragging her back to the castle would ruin her high score in happiness. Letitia's loyal doggo, John, walks up to Clark, giving him those classic puppy dog eyes. Clark gives him some head pats, promising the good boy that he's gonna make Letitia happy. Walking back to base, Clark offers to carry her loot, but she rejects him, claiming she can carry her own weight. Plus, she refuses to let anyone touch her ultra-rare fishing gear. As they stroll, Letitia drops some deep lore about her new lifestyle. She admits being a tomboy who climbs trees and swears like a sailor is way better than playing the rigid queen role. Suddenly, Clark freezes up, totally mesmerized by a field of sheep and horses like it's his first time seeing them outside a screen. Letitia sees his childlike hype and casually flexes that she actually owns the whole flock. She drops some farming mechanics knowledge, explaining that free-range grazing buffs their health way more than basic fodder. Clark is amazed by her big-brain rural strats, listening to her talk about mastering the sustainable living skill tree. Mid-conversation, a massive white horse trots right up to them. Letitia gives it some pets, whispering a quick "my bad" for the loud chatting. The horse then checks out Clark, who totally vibes with it and strokes it fondly. For the first time, Letitia realizes Clark actually has insane Rizz when he's just chilling in nature. She finally notices he's a total catch now that his royal stiffness is gone. She realizes she was so obsessed with dodging the marriage quest that she completely ignored his actual stats. She's zoning out so hard she completely misses Clark calling her name until he asks if her game crashed. Snapping out of it, Letitia decides to just confront him head-on. She straight up asks why he fast-traveled to the boonies out of nowhere. Clark plays it cool, saying he just needed to touch grass before going back to the royal grind. But Letitia's not buying it. She knows this guy's responsibility stat is way too high to just slack off. Knowing he's busted, Clark admits he came to see her real personality, totally over the robotic NPC version from the palace. He hints that he might have actually known the real her way before she put on that try-hard noble mask. Letitia's brain is literally buffering from this info dump. But before she can ask questions, he casually drops a nuke. The engagement was never cancelled and he'll be back for her. Then he literally just logs off and leaves her standing there completely stun-locked. Sprinting back into the villa, she immediately yells for Lily. Lily's like, "Bro, why are you panic sweating?" Letitia gets straight to the point. "We need to elope right now." Lily hard rejects her, reminding her they are both girls and have literally zero romance stats between them. Then Lily casually mentions her brother Nada just spawned in the living room. Figuring Nada has the patch notes for why her engagement is still active, she kicks the door down to confront him. Nada just sighs at her absolute lack of stealth. Ignoring his sass, Letitia demands the full lore drop. Taking a deep breath, Nada explains that Clark never actually hit the cancel button on their marriage contract. It was simply something Letitia had assumed after seeing him with another woman. Nader went on to clarify that Clark had escorted Brianna to the ball to provoke jealousy in Letitia, hoping to break through her stoic demeanor. But the strat completely backfired. Instead of getting mad, Letitia smiled for the first time in years and looked hyped. Suddenly, a wild Brianna appears from the corner, interrupting the law dump. Fed up with being ignored like an NPC, she demands the spotlight. Brianna literally starts crying, begging Letitia to take her spot because she can't survive the brutal princess tutorial. For the first time, Letitia feels a bond with someone who actually understands the insane grind of castle life. Takes Brianna's hands to wish her luck in the royal grind, but Brianna pulls away and drops a bombshell. Clark already declared he's only marrying Letitia to produce the next heirs. Letitia freezes, her brain lagging from the pure embarrassment and shock of this revelation. But before she can even process the children comment, her parents spawn into the room. Her mother immediately goes into rage mode, scolding her for her wild behavior, while her dad tries to tank the hits and gets reprimanded too. Brianna just watches the family drama unfold like it's a high-stakes reality show, which is why. That very evening, Letitia decides it's time to quit the game and run away. She knows staying on family property is a rookie mistake because they'll find her easily, so she waits for the cover of night and tries to stealth her way toward the front door. Just as she thinks she's escaped the loading zone, someone steps on her cloak and it's Brianna, catching her red-handed in the hallway. Letitia begs for freedom, promising to act as a wingwoman to help Brianna win Nader's affection. Intrigued by the trade offer, Brianna agrees to the deal and lets her disappear into the forest, unaware that Nader is lurking in the shadows, having heard the whole plan, but deciding to let his sister enjoy her fleeting freedom. Skipping through the woods, Letitia is finally reveling in her newfound liberty, but her happiness is short-lived because Clark suddenly appears and catches her mid-skip. He's holding her firmly and smiling like nothing happened, only to ask her opinion on which dress she wants for their wedding reception. Letitia is stunned by his sudden teleportation and flatly tells him that now is definitely not the time for wedding talk. Cut to another fine morning at the castle where sunlight is streaming through the ornate windows, and we see Queen Laura making a rare visit to the servants' quarters, causing a massive stir among the staff NPCs. She spots the butler Sebastian and starts playing around, forcing him to politely suggest she go back to the main castle because her presence here is making everyone sweat. She ignores him and asks for Clark's whereabouts, only to be told he isn't scheduled to return until tomorrow, so she shifts the focus to Letitia. The queen is hyped to meet her son's fiancé after the chaos she caused at the ball, while meanwhile, back at the village, Clark is carrying a flailing Letitia over his shoulder like loot. Her resistance is futile, so she eventually goes limp while Clark casually apologizes to her parents for the unannounced visit. Nader enters to announce the carriage is ready, and Letitia tries one last desperate plea for him to intervene, but he completely ignores her just like everyone else. Even Lily is avoiding eye contact, though she secretly mouths a message wishing her a happy marriage, which leaves Letitia feeling betrayed and anxious as Clark declares they are departing for the castle immediately. She tries to thrash her way out and even lands a blow on his head, regretting that she didn't grind her physical stats harder so she could actually fight back. As the carriage moves, she gazes longingly out the window, wishing Lily could have come along to nerf her loneliness. Clark asks if she hates him for this, but she denies it, which gives him a glimmer of hope that he can win her over, especially when he asks if she's ever seen him as a man. She avoids the question, realizing she's only ever seen him as a mandatory obligation. As the night drags on, she drifts into a light sleep until a warm touch wakes her with a start. Clark has moved to sit right beside her, acting all calm and sincere, saying he's happy they can finally speak without the usual royal formality. She points out they've talked before, but Clark says she's never truly looked at him or been honest, and as he leans in, he brushes a strand of her red hair against his lips in a total flirt move. Letitia's heart is racing as he cups her face, but she's suddenly haunted by the memory of Brianna saying Clark wants to have kids with her. Overwhelmed, she eats him away in a burst of panic, sending the prince tumbling onto the floor of the carriage, but instead of being mad, he just laughs it off. He climbs back up even closer and drapes a thick cloak over both of them, insisting they get some rest while he leans his head on her shoulder like he's finally secured his main objective. By morning, they arrive at the castle, and Clark tells her he has something special to show her. She follows him to a massive stretch of open farmland filled with sheep and horses, realizing that he created this whole biome specifically for her so she wouldn't miss the countryside. He promises she can keep doing what she loves after the wedding, adding that he even convinced the king to end her lessons by threatening to never produce an heir if her happiness wasn't prioritized. Then he drops the big question and asks her to marry him, but she hits him with a firm no, leaving him momentarily stunned until he asks why, and she admits she just doesn't want to marry royalty. Clark says he can't change who he is, but he escorts her to a lavish room anyway, telling her to behave and closing the door with a smile. Letitia is shook as she realizes he's essentially forcing this marriage, so she frantically, back in the present inside a carriage, Clark is inching closer with main character Rizz, while Letitia remembers Brianna claiming the prince wanted to have kids with her. Totally panicking, Letitia literally shoves him away like she hit the wrong button. Clark stumbles backward and unceremoniously eats the floor of the carriage. Realizing she just assaulted the crown prince, she starts stuttering out apologies. But instead of raging, Clark just chuckles and brushes off the fall like a total Chad. He hops back onto the seat, now sitting even closer to her. He pulls out a heavy cloak, throws it over both of them, and suggests they hit the sleep cycle. Before she can even block the move, he rests his head on her shoulder, looking completely at peace. For him, this cozy AF moment is the exact vibe he's been grinding for. As he whispers a warm goodnight, Letitia is left sitting there completely rigid, her brain overclocking with confusion. By the time the sun rises, the carriage arrives at the final boss stage, the royal castle. Clark wakes her up, hyping up a secret area he wants to show her. He leads her through the castle grounds until they hit a massive open farming zone. Her eyes go wide as she sees fluffy sheep and majestic horses just chilling in the pasture. It's an endless green map complete with trees and a shiny river right on the castle grounds. Clark smiles like an absolute legend, revealing he custom-built this entire biome just for her. He knows she's a nature main and wanted her to have her own slice-of-life zone right at the palace. He tells her she can fish or farm exp with the animals literally whenever she wants. At first, she's hit with pure euphoria, but when she turns to thank him, she gets super shy, worried she's acting like a total noob. But Clark reads the room perfectly and hits her with that soft reassurance. He promises her that she can continue doing the things she loves, even after they are married. He actually blackmailed the king, threatening to end the royal bloodline unless Letitia's happiness became the priority quest. Talk about an op move. Then Clark drops to one knee and finally triggers the "Marry Me" dialogue option. Letitia hits him with a cold stare and a hard reject. Absolute savage behavior. Clark is left stunned, his Rizz completely countered. He tries to pitch his marriage proposal again, promising a happy ending, but our MC is not moving from her no stance. Clark is confused, so she drops the truth. She's just not into the royalty gameplay. Clark basically says, "I can't nerf my own status," and decides he's done playing nice. He stays chill but forces her back to the castle anyway. This route is getting dark. He locks her in a lavish room, tells her to behave until the wedding, and hits her with that "trust me" smile. Letitia is shook. The prince is officially forcing the marriage arc now. He completely ignored her no and is speedrunning the wedding preparations. She goes full stealth mode, searching the room for any glitch or secret exit. But the durability on these walls is maxed out. She's totally trapped in the lobby. Exhausted, Letitia collapses on the couch. Her stamina bar is empty. She drifts off into a high-stress sleep mode. She dreams she's back in the village, reeling in what feels like a legendary tier fish. But it's not a fish, it's Clark. Talk about a jump scare in your own dream. She tries to sprint to town, but every NPC has been replaced by a Clark clone. Dozens of princes are surrounding her. It's a total psychological horror map. She stumbles into the pond, only for a fish Clark to emerge and spam the marriage proposal again. She jolts awake before she can take any more emotional damage. She spawns into an unfamiliar bed, totally disoriented. A maid rolls up with a warm breakfast loot drop. Letitia is suspicious, but she's starving, so she accepts the trade. The meal is actually top tier. Fresh croissants and eggs, a major HP recovery buff. For a second, the vibes are chill and she enjoys the calm. The maid goes full service mode, warm bath, hairstyling and high-quality gear options. Letitia is lulled into a false sense of security. Rookie mistake. As the maid turns to leave, Letitia hits the dash. She pushes past, screaming that freedom is her main quest objective. Running in a noble gown is like playing with a major speed debuff. She parkours through the halls while the staff alarm bells start ringing like crazy. She spots a window and makes the leap, landing like a pro. But before she can make her escape, a familiar voice joins the lobby. It's Clark. He's just standing there with a hand extended like he's helping a teammate. She hesitates but takes the hand, another trap. Clark pulls her up effortlessly. Then he hoists her over his shoulder like he's carrying rare loot. He tells her that escaping is a total skill issue and takes her back to her cage with that annoying smirk. Once she's alone, Letitia tries to cope by imagining her luxurious morning routine was a win. Maria the maid rolls back in to offer some tea and reset the mood. Our MC actually apologizes for the earlier physical contact, checking if Maria's HP is okay. Maria does a little emote jump to prove she's fine, but Letitia starts, scanning her like a pro gamer, noticing they have the exact same height and character build. A devious idea starts loading in her brain, making Maria feel like she's about to get nerfed, so when the maid asks what's up, Letitia cheerfully suggests switching skins, claiming she just wants to try on the maid uniform, but Maria realizes she's being set up as a decoy and tries to put some distance between them. She scolds Letitia for the constant escape attempts, but our MC goes into full rage mode, corners her, and insists she submit to the plan. Just as Letitia starts unzipping Maria's uniform, the maid frantically rings the panic bell, and moments later, Clark bursts into the room, looking absolutely shook by the scene before him. Maria leaks the whole strategy, and Clark's eyes show he's both exhausted and amused by his fiancée's relentless antics, so he dismisses the maid to have a heartfelt 1v1. He drags her to the table and grasps her hands, and even though Letitia tries to pull away from the conversation, the prince is too up to be stopped. Hours pass while he pours his heart out, showering her with so many compliments that by sunset Letitia is completely drained and collapses onto her bed. Her cheeks are burning as she replays his words, but then Maria returns to rub it in, saying Letitia is lucky to have a man this obsessed with her. Letitia is feeling mildly insulted by the forced marriage, but Maria counters that Clark is doing his best while the MC is too busy planning her next jailbreak to notice. As Maria bids her goodnight, Letitia gazes at the full moon, unaware that Clark is doing the exact same thing in his study, but suddenly her resolve hardens. She eats a table at the massive window to shatter it, ties her bedsheets into a makeshift rope and starts her descent, running toward the gate convinced she's finally free. But just as she nears the exit, a hand firmly grasps hers and Clark pulls her close only to ask what kind of necklace she wants for their wedding day. Suddenly, her resolve stat hits 100. She eats a table through the window, bed she tropes down and makes a break for it. Her feet hit the dirt and she sprints for the gate. Is the freedom arc finally here? Nope, a hand grabs her mid-dash. Stealth failed again. Clark pulls her close and, I kid you not, asks what necklace she wants for the wedding. The audacity. After that stunt, Clark moves her to a high-security spawn point. Maria explains this is the detachment room, basically where they discipline nobles who ignore server rules. She promises it's safe though. Nobody has ever caught a game over in here. Brianna is here too, just snacking away while Letitia is having a breakdown. She reveals she was hired as a conversation partner, specifically to keep Letitia from plotting another escape. Letitia feels a massive betrayal. Her own friend is part of the cage party. Brianna doesn't even care. She says money is the ultimate buff in this world. But wait, she's got more news. She shows off a newly released romance novel that's already a bestseller. The entire kingdom is reading it. Letitia listens as Brianna summarizes the plot. It's literally a fictionalized version of Letitia's own life. The book portrays her as a brave heroine enduring lessons just to be with her true love, Prince Clark. Brianna admits she's the one who leaked the stories to the author. She's been swaying public opinion by sharing Letitia's struggles with the commoners. Now the whole kingdom is simping for their future queen. They think she's a legendary hero who fought for the prince. The hype for the wedding is at 100%, drowning out Letitia's actual desire to log out. Brianna is celebrating with biscuits, noting that the entire server is rooting for this marriage. Letitia is fuming. All she wanted was her freedom, and now she's a fictional celebrity. Brianna says resistance is futile. Clark is a hardcore player. He will never give up on her no matter how many times she tries to escape. She asks why Letitia is so against it. Clark is a high-level husbando who can provide a carry-free life. Brianna burns her tongue on her tea, total rookie move. She looks at Letitia, who's sipping tea with perfect S-rank poise without even trying. She can't help but admire the posture stats. Letitia is just staring blankly, reflecting on the years of etiquette training that are now hard-coded into her brain. Brianna admits those lessons are brutally difficult. She tried them while Letitia was away and failed instantly. Even the other nobles were constantly complaining about the grind. Suddenly, Letitia moves toward the window again. Brianna thinks she's planning escape attempt 15, but she's just staring longingly at the open-world map outside. She wants her choices back. Even basic stuff like choosing a husband was taken from her by the palace admins. She doesn't get why being Clark's fiancé was the required main quest from day one. She just wants the freedom to love someone of her own choosing. Brianna hits her with a cold reality check. Do you even know what love means? She reminds her that living on your own terms is a luxury few can afford in this meta. The unexpected coldness leaves Letitia shook. She retreats to her seat, feeling unsettled by the truth bomb. One day, Letitia is lounging around, bored to tears by her confinement. Her brother Nader spawns in to flame her for her unladylike posture. He yeets a letter onto her face. It's from Mom. Letitia's mood hits an immediate high. Nader places a green box on the table. Mom is hyped for Letitia to become the queen. Letitia ignores that part entirely. She bombards Nader with questions about the village squad and Lily. Nader says everyone is doing fine. The village is chill, and Dad is even looking to add a new horse to the stables. Letitia just wants to go back to the country villa. Nader shuts it down. The castle is her permanent spawn point now. She tries to bargain for a room with bigger windows and a better view. Again, Nader hits her with a no. Defeated, she notices the green box and asks what the loot is. Nader makes her play a guessing game. She sniffs the box and hits a crit. It's filled with Mom's legendary special muffins. She's ready to feast, but Nader drops a warning. He helped make one and it tastes like absolute trash. One muffin will give you a major dreadful taste debuff. They agree on a mini-game, Death Muffin Roulette. The rules are simple. Rock, paper, scissors to pick first. Whoever eats the bad one catches the L. Letitia wins round 1, sniffing the muffins like she's scanning for hidden traps. Nader is dying at her unnoble facial expressions. The poise is officially gone. She picks a muffin and steps back. Nader's turn. He claims he's got the mom-made intuition and picks his own target. They both take a bite. Tension is high. Letitia grins. It's sweet, fluffy, and perfect. Nader's is also delicious. No death muffin yet. They decide to double the stakes. They ditch the RPS and start a high-speed snatch war for the remaining loot. The competitive energy is peaking, but they both keep pulling good muffins. Only 2 left. Letitia is hesitating. She tries to analyze them, but they look identical. 0 visual tells. Nader rolls his eyes, flaming her for her slow decision-making stats. She ignores him, totally fixated on the baked goods. Nader sighs and just snatches one. Fortune favors the bold Letitia. She has no choice but to take the last one. Here we go. They bite at the same time and boom, total spicy surprise attack. They're both gasping. Mom tricked the whole party with a double trap. Every last muffin was spiked. Nader laughs, declaring Mom the ultimate winner of the game. Letitia cracks up, her mouth still on fire. Nader is just happy to see his sister back to her old self. He gives her a smile, relieved that the stoic mask has finally melted. She calls for Maria to bring some emergency water loot. Evening rolls around and Maria logs out for the night. Letitia is finally alone. Time to launch Escape Plan 16. She's inspecting the room, looking for a way out that isn't the guarded front door. Her foot hits a creaky floorboard, classic adventure game clue. She kneels down and finds a hidden compartment. Her hype hits max levels, but she opens it and yikes, it's just a tiny storage space. No secret tunnels here. Letitia sneaks over to the fancy bookshelf in her room, using her eagle vision to scan for a hidden door. While inspecting the law books, one item totally stands out like glowing loot, Prince Clark's personal diary. She hesitates for a split second, knowing reading a prince's private DMs is a punishable offense. But her curiosity stats are maxed out, so she decides to risk the ban and reaches for it. The moment she pulls the book, a secret mechanism triggers. The shelf slides away to reveal a hidden passage. Escape route unlocked. Letitia's heart is racing. Is this the secret exit she's been grinding for? She yeets the diary into the dark to check for hidden traps. Smart play, Letitia. Nothing explodes, so she steps in, praying this path leads straight out of the castle server. But before she can make a break for it, a familiar voice drops a good evening from the shadows. Lights on, Clark is just chilling in a chair, smiling like he's been waiting for her to join the lobby. He's low-key offended she just threw his diary like a common piece of trash, but he finds it hilarious. Turns out Clark already predicted her escape pathing. He's literally playing on admin mode. He even moved his spawn point here just to camp and wait for her. He's actually pleased she tried to read his diary, since it was the literal key to this hidden room event. Letitia is officially caught lacking. Her anxiety stats are hitting a new high. She tries to retreat, but Clark pulls a lever and the bookshelf slams shut. Trap card activated. The passage is sealed, and she's trapped 1v1 with the final boss of her nightmares. She tries to bolt, but Clark's agility is too high. He catches her and pulls her into a cuddle lock. He hits her with the "You're cute" line, and Letitia's face hits max-level blush. The fanservice is real. She spots the bed and starts thrashing. She is not ready for that kind of family arc yet. Clark lets go, and she shoves him so hard he takes a massive fall right onto the mattress. Clark realizes she's panicking and promises 0 R-rated moves until they're officially married. But then he leans in again, making her think the kiss animation is about to trigger. She braces for it, but he just hits her with a wholesome hug buff instead. He says physical affection is a required stat for building a high-tier relationship. Determined to nerf his access, Letitia recruits Maria to move a massive furniture piece and block the secret bookshelf path. Maria is confused why they're doing heavy lifting in a noble's room. Letitia explains the secret passage drama and declares her room a no-prince zone. Maria thinks a secret room is peak romance, but Letitia is just looking for a permanent firewall. Suddenly, they hear the mechanism grinding. The barrier is working. The furniture is blocking the secret entrance. Victory for Letitia. She's laughing at Clark's skill issue until he just walks through the front door like a total Chad. He sees the barricade and tells Maria to move the gear back to its original spot. No bypasses allowed. He drops a "see you tonight" and hits the exit. The prince is playing 4D chess while Letitia is playing checkers. She vents to Nada, but her brother just gives her the "he's your fiancé" shrug. 0 support from the guild. Letitia insists she has 0 experience with physical romance and wants to keep her personal space. Nada tells her to just drop the honesty bomb and explain her perspective clearly. That night, she hits Clark with the hard "don't touch me" command before he can launch an embrace. She adds a massive penalty. If he oversteps, she'll stop calling him by his name. The ultimate silence debuff. The idea of her never saying his name again deals massive emotional damage to Clark, so he accepts her terms and logs off for the night. The next morning, Letitia shares the replay with Brianna, who actually feels bad for the op prince. She tells Letitia that Clark is just trying to win her attention in a high-stakes romance meta. Maria walks in with a new loot drop, Clark's official visitation schedule. It's a nightmare. He's planning to visit her literally every single day. Letitia realizes she forgot to set a cooldown timer on his visits. Massive oversight. Ballroom event is live. The palace is filled with high-level nobles and music. Letitia is finally out of her cage and enjoying the atmosphere, happy to be back in a social lobby. She scans the crowd and her eyes instinctively track Clark's position. But wait, her steps falter. She sees her fiancé chatting up another woman. They look way too familiar. Is this a new player entering the romance arc? A sudden jealousy debuff hits her hard. She doesn't even rationalize it. She just hits the sprint and bails on the scene. She reaches the balcony to catch some air and clear her head from the emotional damage. Seeing Clark with someone else has her system totally unsettled, even if she won't admit she's simping. She yells her frustrations at the wind, and then the rain debuff starts falling. Suddenly, boom, a bag is thrown over her head. Kidnapping event triggered. Clark gets the ping. Letitia is abducted. The carriage has the Delbran family crest and is heading for the border forest. Clark tells his men to keep it quiet so the NPCs don't panic, then recruits Nada for a high-speed chase mission. The carriage stops in the woods. The kidnappers are taking a short break from the rain. Letitia wakes up and sees the feet of her captor. He's stepping in to stay dry. She hears a young guy complaining about the other guy's wet clothes. Sounds like a spoiled royal NPC. She's tied up and hit with a silence debuff. She can't even type in the chat. They finally pull the bag off. Reveal time. The young boy looks disappointed. He's definitely not a fan of the loot he just pulled. He flams his servant for picking the wrong girl. This isn't Maria. He orders his man to just yeet her into the forest. Letitia starts struggling for her life. She loosens the gag and warns them, "If you drop me here, you're triggering a kingdom-wide war." She reveals she's Prince Clark's fiancée. That's a high-level title they definitely don't want to mess with. The search party is already on the way. The captors are debating. Should they throw her out anyway, or will returning her cause even more drama? Letitia hears the name Maria and realizes it might be her maid. She claims she knows her to buy some time. She offers a trade, untie her and she'll leak all the Maria lore she has. Restraints removed. The boy starts simping hard, talking about his destiny with Maria. He's declaring his love with zero shame. This kid is on a different level of obsessed, totally convinced that the devs programmed them to be endgame. The servant Lyle introduces the boy as Prince Louis of Delbarin. Maria used to be a noblewoman and was basically a sibling figure to Louis. But Louis claims their bond was 100% romantic, delusional much. Her house collapsed and she vanished, only to be spotted working as a maid in Aster. Letitia confirms it. Her maid Maria is definitely the target of this crazy kidnapping quest. Lyle admits he told the prince the kidnapping plan was a terrible idea, but Louis wouldn't listen. He thought this was the only way to bring his waifu back to Delbarin. They pull up to an inn and start brainstorming how to avoid a total server shutdown. Letitia suggests they just fund her border house so she can finally live the commoner life. Lyle wants to fake a rescue story to save face. Everyone has a different strat. Louis just wants his Maria, focus kid. These plans are all messy and could trigger a major war between the kingdoms. Dinner is served, giving them a temporary ceasefire. Louis is looking at the commoner food like it's poison. He's only used to Palestia delicacies. Letitia and Lyle are digging in, but Louis is hesitant to take even one bite. He finds a fishbone and recoils in horror, literally inedible. Lyle just sighs and offers to perform the bone removal support action for his master. Letitia is wondering why they're stalling at an inn instead of clearing the map. Louis insisted on stopping just for a bath. Talk about high-maintenance captors. He's not even worried about the search party. He thinks diplomacy will fix everything in the morning. Room drama. Louis refuses to share a room with Lyle. He wants the VIP suite. Louis flat out refuses to share a spawn point with Lyle, demanding a VIP room instead. Letitia fires back, saying there's no way she's co-oping a room with a guy either. Louis hits her with a low blow. Don't worry, you have zero sex appeal anyway, savage. They decide to split the rooms and make Lyle stand watch in the hallway like a loyal guardian NPC. Poor Lyle is left standing there while the nobles log out for the night. Letitia decides this is the perfect time for her solo escape mission. She plans to sell her accessories for gold and start her new life as a commoner. She's hyped to finally ditch her noble responsibilities for good. She opens the window and inhales that fresh freedom air. She's about to make the leap when a noise at the door stops her cold. When some crazy NPC aggro outside her door makes her freeze. Her heart drops as she turns around, only to see the final boss, Clark, blocking the doorway. His expression is totally unreadable. Is he about to drop a banhammer? Clark steps in, his smile looking a bit glitched out. He's not happy about her company for the night. Lyle tries to explain he was just returning her, but Letitia flams him for ruining her stealth plan. But his big mouth totally leaks Letitia's escape strat, and she instantly aggroes on him for ruining her stealth mission. Clark doesn't care about the explanation. He's in full jealousy mode seeing her with Lyle. His gaze is lingering on them, and the tension in the room is reaching 100%. He shuts down the argument, saying they're settling this back at the palace. No more dialogue options. Suddenly, Louis spawns in wearing nothing but a towel. Talk about an awkward entrance. He's complaining about his bath again. This kid has zero perception of the situation. He sees Clark, hits a quick bow, and tries to act all professional. He introduces himself as the Prince of Delbarin and claims he and Lyle are the heroes who rescued her. Total chaos erupts. Everyone is screaming and arguing, disturbing all the other NPCs in the inn. The debate is getting way too loud until Nader rolls up to the room. He tells the other guests to chill and that he's handling the drama. He steps in and hits the group with a massive disapproval glare. Taking a deep breath, Nader uses his shot-caller voice to cut right through the lobby chat. Complete silence falls. The bickering has finally come to an abrupt halt. Once order is restored, Nader takes charge of the server, recognizing they need a convincing cover story to prevent a total kingdom-wide war. After a moment of theory crafting, he suggests they report that Louis was just trying to buff the diplomatic ties between Delbarin and Aster. To do this, he allegedly decided to befriend Letitia, hoping she'd act as a wingwoman for him with Prince Clark. And as part of this mission, he invited her on a carriage ride, which is how they ended up in this current mess. Letitia immediately protests this fake law, but to her frustration, everyone else agrees this is the best strategy to avoid a conflict. With the plan locked in, Nader orders Louis to go change his skin and get properly dressed, leaving Letitia and Clark alone. The tension in the room is thick enough to nerf your stats, and unspoken feelings linger between the two. Clark, unable to suppress his jealousy any longer, finally snaps, demanding to know how she became so friendly with another man so fast. Letitia recognizes the high-level anger hiding beneath his usual prince-dear smile, which makes her panic as she scrambles to explain herself, her words tumbling out in a rush as she tries to apologize. Before she can finish her defense, Clark silences her by pulling her into a sudden high-voltage embrace. The warmth of his arms and the firm beat of his heart momentarily steal her breath away, making her forget the escape mission. But as quickly as the hug starts, it ends as Clark releases her and suggests they start their commute back to the castle, but Letitia has mischief gleaming in her eyes and decides to go for one last speed run. Without warning, she bolts into the night, feeling the cool air against her skin as her heart pounds with exhilaration, convinced she's finally secured her freedom. But just as she reaches the outskirts of the inn, a firm arm obliterates her momentum and sends her falling back into the sand. Nader is standing right there looking completely done with her antics, and with a resigned sigh, he tells her that running is futile because the entire town is heavily guarded by palace NPCs. He vows that nothing will stop her wedding to Clark, reminding her that the prince truly loves her and only wants what's best for her character development. In a rare display of brotherly affection, he pats her head and assures her Clark will make her happy, but she needs to face him properly. By morning, Letitia is back at the castle, where Maria greets her with open arms, absolutely thrilled to see her mistress returned. But the reunion is cut short when Louis, who followed them back to the capital, interrupts the moment with his trademark dramatic flair. Back at the castle, Maria Aka Lily sees Louis and instantly freezes. Her worst nightmare has spawned. With a massive grin, Louis announces he's transferring to this server as an exchange student. His real mission, stalking Maria as much as possible while strengthening kingdom bonds. Sus. He's hyped, but Maria's face says it all. She is in total despair. Dread settled in, dealing with Louis' antics every day. That's a permanent debuff. The absolute last thing she wants is to deal with Louis' troll behavior every single day. Letitia just watches them clown around, actually cracking a fond smile. Nader admits he's the one who let Louis stay in the party. He hopes that having friends around will make Letitia stop her constant escape attempts. Maria hides behind Letitia like she's a tank. Protect me from this prince. She's literally clutching Letitia's gear, pleading for an assist. Nader smiles and decides to redirect Louis aggro. He offers to lead the prince to his room, promising him more Maria time later. Louis reluctantly agrees, but he's already counting the frames until he sees her again. As the server lag clears, Letitia realizes Clark has completely vanished from the minimap. She's actually worried. Where did the prince go? Is he on a hidden side quest? Meanwhile, Brianna is vibing through the castle halls, heading toward Letitia's base. She glances out a window and spots something that definitely wasn't in the patch notes. She zooms in for a better look at the garden scenery. There's Clark, animatedly chatting with a mystery woman who isn't our MC. Brianna feels a massive pang of second-hand emotional damage. She decides to keep this affair arc on the low to protect the palace peace. Nobility drama is a major stamina drain. Morning rolls around, and Letitia gets a visit from the witch herself, Queen Laura, the eternal youth mother-in-law. The queen has that mesmerizing aura stat maxed out, intimidating 100%. She brought her youngest son, Prince Matthias, a toddler who is basically a walking cuteness buff. Matthias sees Letitia and sprints for a hug, screaming her nickname. He's here for the pampering. Letitia's defenses completely melted. She scoops him up instantly, showering the little guy with affection like he's rare loot. She even tells the queen she wishes Matthias were her own child. The maternal instinct is op. It's all wholesome until the toddler tries to lock in a cheek kiss. Clark swoops in like an aggressive duo partner, plucking the kid away and yeeting him to another seat. He takes the spot next to her, giving her that look-at-me smile. He wants the same attention Matthias got. The prince is officially jealous of a toddler. Days later, Brianna and Louis pull up to Letitia's room for a chat. Brianna asks the heavy question, "What will your future kids with Clark look like?" Letitia literally chokes on her tea. The family arc, reality, is dealing massive psychic damage to her right now. Brianna says it's inevitable, the law is already written. Clark has zero interest in producing heirs unless our MC is the mother. He's locked in. Letitia goes into full denial mode, stubbornly claiming she'll find a way to Alt-F for the wedding and reclaim her freedom. Lyle and Louis exchange glances. Despite her loud protests, she's clearly not resisting the engagement as much as she thinks. As they discuss Letitia's blatant denial, Brianna goes quiet. She's feeling a twinge of guilt about the cheating drama she witnessed in the garden. Lewis, having zero map awareness, abruptly changes the subject, saying he'd rather go simp for Maria. Letitia blocks his path, playing the ultimate wingwoman to stop his relentless advances. Louis is immune to hints. He doesn't realize Maria has zero interest in his party. Letitia looks to Brianna for backup, but her friend is completely distracted by her own secret intel. MC senses a disturbance in the lobby. Something is definitely wrong. She confronts Brianna, demanding she leak the info. Brianna confesses she saw Clark in an intimate moment with a tall, beautiful woman. She drops a bomb, saying she caught Clark having a sus, intimate moment with some tall, beautiful girl. That description instantly triggers a flashback cutscene in Letitia's brain. She remembers the night of the ball when she spotted Clark, with someone matching that exact skin. Maria feels the aggro rising and quickly tries to defuse the situation, calling it a misunderstanding. Letitia confirms it. The beautiful woman is definitely real. Turns out there really was an insanely beautiful woman locked on Clark's arm that night. A massive wave of tilt completely washes over Letitia. She's scowling because it's unfair. Clark is out here enjoying DLC content while she's confined to her room map. She realizes Clark hasn't visited her in 4 days. The affection meter is dropping. Suspicion turns into a conviction buff. If he's avoiding her, he's definitely hiding a secret affair arc. She makes up her mind. The target is locked. Letitia's expression goes full Yandia as she finally makes a decision. Without hesitation, she announces, "I'm going to punch Clark." The lobby is stunned. No one expected the MC to go full PvP like this. Maria is gasping. The alarm levels are at max. They try to hold her back, but Letitia is already formulating a plan. She orders Maria and Brianna to uncover the truth about this mystery woman quest. Brianna refuses at first. She doesn't want to mess with admin-level trouble. But then Letitia offers to pay her more than the prince. Money buff accepted. Lyle and Louis join the search party, hoping to prove Louis is the S-rank choice for Maria. Maria is still hesitating because of her loyalty stat to Clark. She is part of Clark's guild after all, and totally believes the Op Prince is a one-woman man. Lyle chimes in, saying that for high-tier guys, having a harem is basically a status symbol. His trash take instantly gives Brianna the disgust debuff. She fires right back, saying any guy who cheats on his main girl is straight-up trash tier. Investigation mode. Brianna starts questioning the castle NPCs. She goes into stealth mode and starts questioning the castle NPCs. They all confirm seeing a tall, slender woman hovering around Clark like they're in a party together. Lyle and Louis gather intel from the guards. The woman has been seen entering Clark's private chambers multiple times. Sus levels critical. Maria hits up the maid NPCs to farm some intel. They confirm the rumors too, saying this mystery girl is definitely trying to steal Clark's aggro. One even claims she caught them hugging on the balcony, making Maria's anxiety meter spike. Letitia is boiling with frustration in her room. Her tilt hits max level when she notices the heavy guards spawn outside her window, making a stealth escape impossible. She kicks the wall in a fit of rage and takes 5 HP of self-inflicted damage. Ouch. Nursing her HP loss, she glares, totally convinced Clark is double-crossing her. Maria is conflicted about reporting the data. She remembers when Clark hired her and made her feel like a high-tier NPC in this kingdom. He trusted her with Letitia's care. It was a major quest of faith. She looks at the bell he gave her, a symbol of their contract and his trust. After a long pause, she steps back into Letitia's safe zone. Before she can even speak, Letitia beams and pulls her into a massive hug, hyped to have her party member back. With the guilt debuff eating away at her, Maria finally drops the truth. She reminds Letitia that she's technically contracted to Prince Clark, so she has to trust his loyalty. Choosing to trust his stats, she smiles and says she just wants to see Letitia get that happy ending, since it's part of her main quest. The party devises a stealth mission to get Letitia out of the castle unnoticed to follow Clark. While Lyle and Lewis pull the guards aggro, Brianna sneaks Letitia out the gate to tail Clark, leaving Maria behind to hold the fort and prevent anyone from noticing the missing MC. Arriving at the shopping district, Brianna is shook that Letitia isn't distracted by the S-tier loot in the windows, considering she's been castle-locked for ages. But our MC remains focused on the mission, determined to uncover the truth about her fiancé's suspicious behavior. Suddenly, Brianna spots Clark standing outside a shop with a mysterious high-level beauty. The duo maneuvers closer to eavesdrop, but there's no cover, so they settle for peeking around a street lamp like total rookies. Brianna analyzes their body language, and starts to suspect the relationship isn't actually that intimate, which is a relief because Clark is maintaining a respectful distance and isn't displaying any secret lover energy at all. However, Letitia notices a major red flag. Clark's smile looks more genuine with this woman than with anyone else in the server. Before they can unlock more lore, the targets start moving again, leading our team to the entrance of a gentleman's club. Brianna is taken aback because it's super weird to take a side piece into a building like that. Determined to force a confrontation, Brianna takes matters into her own hands. She drags Letitia inside and hides behind a couch, forcing the princess to face her fiancé in a 1v1 duel. Clark is visibly shocked to see his fiancée outside the castle grounds and immediately demands she head back to the base. But Letitia stands her ground, accusing him of being totally unfair. She's mad that he gets to roam freely while she's been stuck in a room with zero explanation. But then the plot twist hits. The mysterious woman finally speaks, and her voice is way deeper and smoother than expected. Letitia's eyes widen as she realizes that this beautiful woman is actually a man in a legendary dress skin. He introduces himself as Viscount Neil, and Letitia quickly regains her composure to offer a polite apology for the misunderstanding. Neil just chuckles, fully aware of his own beauty, and starts striking dramatic poses to show off his best angles. From behind the couch, Brianna is stunned by this level of unabashed narcissism. Neil tells Clark to ditch the work and spend the day with his fiancée, and he even spots Brianna in her hiding spot, inviting her to leave so the main couple can be alone. Letitia apologizes for jumping to conclusions, but Clark is a total saint and forgives her instantly. He extends an invitation for a secret date, which leads to them exploring the town and experiencing the simple joys of NPC life. Clark even tries bartering for the first time, successfully purchasing a sweet drink he's never tasted before. He hands Letitia the drink, and as she takes a sip from the same straw, he realizes he just secured an indirect kiss. Letitia turns bright red and scolds him for making such a weird expression before they head to the park to watch the world go by. Clark reflects on his desire to protect the kingdom's peace, which surprises Letitia because of how selfless his dream actually is. He then hands her a small box that plays a soft melody, revealing a tiny Milo creature inside. He explains the animal is known for its unwavering loyalty, choosing it as a symbol of his commitment to her. Letitia is enchanted by the gift, and for the first time she gives him a genuine, heartfelt smile. Clark feels a huge wave of relief, but Letitia is still dealing with some guilt over her inexperience with love. She admits it might take time to catch up to his feelings, and the desire for freedom is still tugging at her heartstrings. But Clark isn't nerfed by her honesty, reassuring her he'll always find a way to bring her back to him. As the sun sets, he extends his hand to walk her back, and she finally takes it without hesitation. Little do they know, the whole squad is hidden in the bushes watching them like it's a season finale. Neil is especially proud that he sparked Letitia's jealousy, boosting his ego while the others just roll their eyes. As they keep grinding their date event, they hit a save point at a nearby park to people watch. Clark gazes at the scenery, reflecting on his desire to protect the peace of the server. Letitia is shook. She didn't expect this selfless hero build from him. Clark reaches into his inventory and places a small gift box in her hands. It's a music box. A soft melody plays as a tiny rabbit creature spins inside. It's a Milo native to Delbarin and famous for its unwavering loyalty, stat to its partner. He chose this as a symbol of his perma-commitment to her. Letitia is totally mesmerized by the god-tier craftsmanship, watching the tiny figure spin like she's under a spell. Seeing her so hyped, Clark mentions how the little figure is literally her twin. It might look tiny and cute, but it has absolute try-hard determination in its eyes, just like our MC. A genuine smile finally breaks through as she admires the loot, and Clark breathes a sigh of relief, knowing he successfully cleared the romance quest. Letitia feels a wave of guilt. She's a level 1 at love and doesn't know how to reciprocate these feelings yet. The freedom quest is still nagging her heart, but she's softening. Clark is undeterred. He's playing the long game. He promises he'll always find a way to bring her back to his party. The sun sets and he extends a hand to walk her home. Standard romance animation. She takes it without hesitation, connection strengthening. Behind the bushes, the whole squad, Nada, Brianna, Lyle and Louis, is spying on them. The whole squad watches their every move like a Twitch stream, hoping this side quest finally maxed out Letitia and Clark's bond level. Nada is proud of his jealousy